Welcome back, ladies and lizard folk, to Reptile Ramblings. I'm your host, Nate. As always, joined by my eloquent co host, Mr. Brian McDowell.
Hey, what's happening, Ramblers? Man, we got a good one tonight.
Yeah, we finally have someone, a worthy challenger for the throne of the most timber voice on the podcast, Mr. Phil Wolf. Phil, welcome to the show.
Hey, how's it going, guys? Thank you so much for inviting me on the show. I really appreciate it.
Man,
Solid cherry oak.
man, what are they putting in cigarettes these days?
The apartment smells of rich mahogany.
Mahog.
Yeah, speaking of Anchorman, we are planning a trip to a whale's vagina, so.
Nice.
Santiago.
Santiago. It's German. Yes. Well, thanks for having me on the show, guys. I appreciate it.
Yeah, it's
Also, I mean, my bad, Nate, but you just started off right off the bat. I mean, Southwest. Like, I'm assuming you've also been to the Southwest, just because I remember it's like super random off an NPR app when you guys went out to it was either Cali or Arizona, probably.
Yeah, I've been with the boys to Arizona, New Mexico, West Texas, East Texas, Central Texas, but North Florida. I have not made a Cali trip. The only time I've ever spent in California was a layover, so it doesn't really count. But it's in the future, man. It's in the future.
Yeah. I mean, you have the true Psoriasis, so why not try to find this, pseudo Psoriasis we have?
Yeah, and honestly, man, like sidewinders are incredible, and there's 3 different ones, and I've never seen any of them. So I'm probably going to join the boys back, or at least some of the boys back in the fall, this coming autumn. So hopefully I get to see at least one of the 3, because I think that'd be cool. And there's still plenty of croats that I've not seen, so the adventure awaits.
That'd be awesome.
Speaking of croats,
I
haven't set up an outline for this episode, so it's kind of a willy-nilly one. It's not exactly an INAT tourism video, but you keep some crotolets, don't you?
Yeah, I've got a couple things. I've got banded rock rattlesnakes. I've got Tamaulipan rock rattlesnakes. I've got dusky pygmies, even though they're not crotalus. What am I forgetting? I feel like I'm forgetting one of them. I think that's it for actual croats. Yeah, I think that's it. We're very, very thinned out on rattlesnakes right now. So,
I mean, you have croats which cannot be captured by camera, and that's like just bottom line. Whether it's like wild specimen or captives, and like the saying goes, I've never seen any in the wild, but it just seems like from most people's perspectives, right?
From all the species I've kept, there is nothing like keeping an animal, doing well with an animal, whether it be out of luck or instruction from research or friends or whatever, but then you go to its actual habitat and you see it in the wild, and you're like, I've been doing everything wrong. Everything's wrong. Let's just change everything. And then you go home and you change it, and then you start to see the observations that you saw in the wild in your snake room. Like, that's just the coolest. So, and I've been very lucky to do that on a couple species, and I urge everyone, if you have the ability to go see what you keep in the wild, do it, because it'll just make you that much better keeper.
That might not be applicable to Orinoco crocodile keepers. Or
I mean, you can still go there,
or maybe Iranian spider tail vipers. That might be a little.
Yeah, right now that would be tough. But as far as I know, there's only like 4 guys in North America that have them, so they can figure it out.
Yeah. Speaking of seeing stuff in the wild, you're kind of in one of the best herping spots in the country in South Florida. Any recent finds just out and about, bopping around as?
No, I've barely herped in 2026. I've gone road cruising a couple nights, where one night had a pretty good looking garter snake, some Nerodia of sorts, and honestly, that's about it. I mean, the year is still early, as they say, but normally I've got at least, I try to go at least 2-3 nights a month, and I think I've gone like 2-3 nights since the new year, so I'm a little behind and everything. But the cool part about South Florida is you get different animals different times of the year. You have countless different ecosystems to choose from. It's just a matter of getting up off your ass and going. So, and that I'm guilty of that. You get home
It's
from work
also
and
isn't there also a difference of like 2 inches to 2 foot, to 2 feet in
yeah,
elevation
yeah,
or
yeah, yeah. It's
progression?
well, it's the rule of thumb is every 7 feet could be a different ecosystem. Um, but a lot of times you'll have the same water snake in one area that's 50 miles in the opposite direction, even though the ecosystem's totally different. It still fills both niches. So there's a lot of species I've never seen because it's far. Like the Panhandle is its own monster, and like
Oh
that's
yeah.
a mission. That's multiple missions, I should say. I've only herped up there twice, and I've been lucky to see some pretty cool stuff up there. But like in terms of like Florida amphibians, dude, north of Orlando is it's an entirely different book. You know,
And that's because they don't have as many Cuban tree frogs there driving everything extinct.
it's very true, very true. It's also human encroachment, man. There's a lot less bulldozing up there. So
Yeah, how's the saying go? The further south of Florida you get, the more northern it becomes.
yeah, but I feel like that's just the people. That's just the humans.
That's probably right
Yeah,
accurate.
yeah. I mean, with the exception of Dade County, that's a different country altogether. God bless it. The more south you go, the more north you get in terms of humans. But like the Keys, that's technically Monroe County. That's their own biome. And there are so many Keys endemic animals that I've never seen in person. And it's like a 2-hour drive for me. It's just you got to allocate that time. You got to really commit to that time. And I'm sure there's going to be a 3-day weekend in my future where I'm going to get a bug up my ass and say, you know what, let's just go and we'll herp all night. We'll pound some energy drinks. We'll just drive home. So
I mean, you live there, man. So you have the rest of your life. It's the
yeah,
sort of
yeah,
mentality. You
yeah,
live here.
yeah.
You say up in the Panhandle. So have you ever visited what's the national forest up there, Apalachicola?
No, I've never been to Apalachicola. I've technically driven through it technically, but I've never herped it. I don't count highway driving as having seen it. Got a couple buddies that live in that general vicinity, and they do some amazing herping up there. But I've done Ocala National Forest. I've done Osceola National Forest. I've done some wildlife management areas in that area. I've herped some private land up in that area, up on like the Georgia border, near like White Oaks, like that area. But no, I've never really been true legit Panhandle or true legit Apalachicola. It's on my list, man. It's on my list.
Uh, any other places in Florida that are high up on your list as well?
Yeah, absolutely. I want to do Sanibel Captiva. I visited as a tourist, but I was in, with like my parents when I was younger, and like I went to like a friend's wedding where like I didn't have the time to physically go herp it. You know what I mean? Um, so I really want to do those barrier islands, Sanibel Island, Captiva, that whole southwestern peninsular barrier islands. They have a lot of cool endemic species. I definitely want to go up north of Tampa and do those barrier islands because of marsh snakes. Like, how cool is that? And then I want to do Jacksonville too, because Jacksonville not only has terrapins that are completely unlike all the other terrapins in the southeast, but they have the Atlantic salt marsh snake. So I kind of gotta do both sides. And then like I mentioned before, the Keys. There's just so many endemic species of the Keys, and whether it's bugs and arachnids, like whip scorpions or vinegaroons or centipedes or invasive Cuban geckos that you find, in big pine. Like I want to see an ashy gecko. Like ashy geckos is endemic to Cuba, but now it's in the Keys. It's been in the Keys since like the 1400s or something stupid like that. But it's technically not a Florida gecko, but it's super cool and adorable. So like, why wouldn't you want to go see that in the wild? So other than that, I want to try and do a Florida list of sorts. I'm going to focus on reptiles, and if I can do amphibians, then rock and roll. I'm not going to stick my nose up to amphibians along the way, but the goal is to definitely do the reptiles of Florida, like in its entirety.
Yeah.
So
I was gonna say at your friend's wedding, I could totally imagine them trying to take a photo of the "I do" moment, and then in the background, off in the woods, they just see you wrangling with an Everglades rat snake.
it's something like that. Something like that. I haven't found an Everglades rat snake in almost 10 years, man. It's super sad. Their story is super sad, and I feel like nobody's really talking about it. Where you have a species that in my opinion, was its own definitive species, but I'm not a geneticist, I'm not a taxonomist, and they lumped it
Thank God
together
for
with,
that.
I know, right? Thank God for that. And oh God, it'd be so many ensises. Um, but the animal was kind of forced to not only on paper blend in with Alleganensis, but interbreed in the wild with Alleganensis or just be extirpated. In areas that you only found orange rat snakes, now you're only finding ugly gray ones, or not ugly gray ones, ugly yellow ones with a pinkish hue. And we're still calling it Everglades, but it's really not, you know, and it's human encroachment and development and forced hybridization, even though they are technically the same species. It's muddling of that aesthetic gene pool, if you want to call it that, not to sound too coarse. Uh, but I think that more people who keep those snakes should speak up about it, and more people in the wild need to document their road kills, their road finds, you know, and do more research on that species because, or that phenotype, if you will, because I feel like we're going to lose it in the next 10 years.
I mean, it sounds like a, my bad to cut in, but it's like a
Yeah.
Pantheropus, what do you call it? Like toil. It's just, or Pantheropus plight rather.
Yeah.
But also, you know, it's doom of Drymarkin. I speak it loud and proud. It just doesn't seem like they're recovering fully because, you know, without more restoration to natural habitat and plus these big roads that cut through, they're big, slow snakes. It's strong
Well, I
as they
think there
are, they're
is
still slow.
there is a how do I phrase this? There is a plus side to them being as elusive as they are, and that's private land ownership in South Florida. And you don't see it with a lot of non-mammals, but I know guys, very well-to-do gentlemen who own crap loads of land that they bought just to have, whether they're, you know, pig hunting or they're astrophotographering, however you want to phrase that, or they just want to say, I've got 500,000 acres, you know, whatever, rich guy stuff. They have trail cams with panthers on it, but they refuse to tell Fish and Wildlife. And what they'll do is they'll take their MP4 files or whatever the video files are, and they'll send them to the researchers and be like, don't tell Fish and Wildlife. They were found on this piece of property. You know, that way, like the scientists, they get the data and they say, oh, wow, there is this many cats, or wow, that cat doesn't have a collar on it, right? And there are people doing that because they don't want the state to encroach on their private property, and they also don't want the state to find a way to bulldoze it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or seize their land or whatever. But the same thing is happening on private land for reptiles, specifically indigo snakes, where I have people in my business world that own hundreds of thousands of acres in South Florida or southwestern Florida, and they've seen indigos, but because they own hundreds of thousands of acres, they don't think anything of it. They don't need to tell scientists about it. But at the same time, we also can't get a good head count because it's private land and they don't let those people on it. So it's kind of a seesaw of really cool and also kind of crappy, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But I'm with you, man. The Drymarchon they're just disappearing. I've never seen one in person in the wild ever. And I've been herping Florida for 26 years.
I mean, what you added definitely helped a bit in just maybe dissolving that doom and gloom, you know?
Yeah, I don't think it's total doom and gloom, but it's still crappy.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And like, just to not to rant or stand on a podium in any way, but like, everyone knows what pickleball is. Everyone's into this freaking pickleball, right? We just got done talking about Everglades rat snakes and how they're disappearing, right? I got a phone call from a cop out west of me who knows I like snakes, and every time he gets a snake on a call, he calls me. He's like, hey man, I got a snake. I think it's a corn snake, or I think it's a brown water snake. He'll send me a picture. He'll FaceTime me, and I'm like, yeah man, it's a corn snake. Just like throw in the bushes, you're good. You know, or it's like, hey, that's a pygmy rattlesnake. You know, leave it be. I'm on my way. Well, he hit me up. He's like, dude, I got a giant orange snake, and I'm thinking, okay, this is some kind of albino ball python or something. You know, something got loose, whatever. He says it's on a pickleball court, and the kids are freaking it out because there's hundreds of kids at this county park, And if they've got it cornered, I put a trash can over it. So now the kids are all dispersed because now they're just looking at a flipped over trash can. I was like, all right, cool, I'm on my way. He's like, I'm leaving, but I'm going to leave you with the park ranger. He said he doesn't care if you take it. He doesn't, I don't know what it is, big orange snake. So I get there, and on the pickleball court is a 5-foot male Everglades rat snake, terrified. So I literally flipped the trash can over. I picked the snake up. I held it in my bicep against my chest like a football, just like balled it up. And it was pissed. It was flopping its tail. It kind of mussed me a little bit, but it's terrified. And I literally like discreetly shoved said football into a pillowcase I brought with me. And the kids were like, oh, look there. Oh, no, he took it. Oh, it's gone, And I looked around. I was like, man, everyone's talking about how pickleball is just destroying the ecosystem. So I asked the Parkers, like, hey, man, how long has this pickleball court been here? He goes, oh, they built it last year. I was like, what was it before that? He goes, Everglades. I'm like, man, this snake just like lost its home, doesn't know where it's going to go, how it's going to live, where it's going to breed, where it's going to eat, whatever. And it's on this pickleball court. And now the state is pumping out these laws that basically say if a parcel of state land is partially developed but not being used to its maximum efficiency, they can bulldoze more to make pickleball courts. And then that'll lead to golf courses, and then people will actually want to pay money to use it. And like, we're fighting this. Floridians are actively fighting this. But now I have a genuine poster child specimen of an animal that was rescued on a pickleball court, and like that hits home. That's crushed.
Yeah, it feels like pickleball is just something that will fade away in sometime over the next 10 years too.
Exactly. It's the new fad. And meanwhile, me and Bryant's indigos are not making it to adulthood because some old dude is whacking a little ball with a little racket.
Yeah.
So
I'll say this, at least pickleball doesn't take up as much space as a golf course.
That's true. But now I gotta. Can I tell another sad story? So, sorry if this is doom and gloom episode. My apologies. I used to live in a apartment complex that was built around a golf course. Well, the economic structure of the region changed, and now the people that were living there were normal folks like us. They weren't bougie golf people, snowbirds. So the golf course closed. But you had this rolling acreage of golf course. Well, the jungles of Florida took it back. So now you had all these crazy animals living there, mostly invasive, basilisks, iguanas, things of that sort, and as well as small local mammals like raccoons and possums and that kind of thing. But right before I moved away, they started to bulldoze it all to make more apartments. They're like, well, why would we leave this abandoned golf course here? Let's just sell it, dig it up, make it more housing for humans. And all of a sudden I start seeing all these crazy invasive animals on my back porch, like basilisks on my back porch. I was like, where the hell did you come from? Oh yeah, they bulldozed your jungle. So even though like the wilderness took it back, we still bulldozed it to make more apartments. So sorry, man. Sorry about that. I don't know where I was going with that one. I apologize. You can edit that out if you want. It was me just getting aggro.
No, it's a human quotient, man. I mean,
yeah, dude.
Plain and simple, it's a human quotient.
Yeah.
We can't cut out that little tidbit about your interaction with Little Amazon. So.
Yeah.
Speaking of invasives, have you found any of those mythological 47-foot long Burmese pythons?
I have yet to find a python in the wild. I'm knocking on my wicker chair I'm sitting on.
That's impressive, man.
And everyone's like, well, you don't know what you're looking for. I'm like, I probably don't. I mean, I found a lot of snakes, but I've never found a python. Now, I recently was herping with Jake and Skylar. Well, not recently. Crap, it was probably last year. Herping with Jake and Skylar from Flippin' Tin podcast. And we pulled up on a couple that had found a baby berm. So I can officially say that I have seen one that was field collected, but I've yet to find one. So
damn, FWC released that thing only like 2 months ago.
Just please. They're not listening. They're not listening.
I'm not a Floridian resident, so I don't care. I'll just get you in trouble. I'm gonna get in trouble.
Yeah. But no, I've yet to see one, and there's a lot of invasives, man. There really is, but a lot of the stuff has been here a really, really long time, to the point where the ecosystem is what it is. I'm not saying that we should roll our eyes at berms and ignore the problems, but there's a lot of animals that have been here for 50, 60, 80 years or longer. Like I just brought up the ashy gecko. Like that gecko's been here since like 1480 or whatever was the record. So are we really going to give a crap about it? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, it came when our ships were all wooden still, you know? It's just
Yeah, exactly.
wild to think about.
And
Yeah.
like they don't even think it was humans. They think it was hurricane related, you know, driftwood and things of that sort. One thing that really kind of chaps my butt is the Spirodactylus, the reef geckos. They just made reef geckos protected, but they still bulldoze all the beaches to make like apartments and condos and hotels. And it's like, okay, great job protecting the gecko, but the damage is done. It's gone. It's only in state parks. So like, why are we doing this now? You know?
Yeah, it's just we'll protect it in our thoughts and prayers.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a two-parter, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
So, but that's another species I need to see in the wild. I've yet to see one in the wild, and I have friends that have spots, and they're like, dude, just take a lunch break. We'll go over, we'll see the gecko, take a picture, we'll leave. Like, you know, so like they are around. I'm not concerned that they're going to be completely bulldozed, but it does make me chuckle a little bit. They're like, they're officially protected. Isn't that great? I was like, well, no, you should have did this like 30 years ago before, you know, all the sea grape was destroyed. All the natural barrier foliage to protect us from high water storm surge, you bulldozed.
Yeah.
Sure, sure. I mean, one thing though to bring you to high praises that you have seen, you know, your local quote unquote local Pictuophis, you know, because I did used to listen to NPR back
Oh
in the
man,
day.
dude,
That sounded awesome.
that was a blessing from God, man. That was a blessing from God. That was we were down on our luck, and it was rainy and gross, and we'd seen too many Diamondbacks hit by cars, and it was like, man, what are we doing? Like something's got to give, and like, you know what? Let's just turn around. And we were just like, yeah, let's just turn around, and we turn around, and there it was, man. It was just a blessing. Amazing, absolutely amazing experience. So I definitely consider myself blessed on that one. That was killer. And now I'm like, well, crap. Every Pichovas now has to be found and photographed. You know, it just has to happen.
You got
So,
infected.
Yep, yep, yep. And all my friends are keeping pits now, and I'm like, don't do it, don't do it. Like I've got Dramarcon, but I'm like, don't do pits. You don't have the space. No. So
Yeah, it's a tough decision, man.
yeah,
That's how some herping days go. It's like you're getting skunked out and bummed out for like 8 hours, but in the ninth hour, you find the one animal that just completely redeems the entire day.
yeah, man, for sure, for sure. And also, I was talking to Rob Stone about this a few months back. It's like, you know, we want to herp hard. We want to really hit the pavement, as they say, but hit the trail and herp all day and herp all night. But in my older years, I'm finding that it's more enjoyable for both the camaraderie aspect with your friends, but also actually being not fatigued to the point where you miss stuff. But glamping is the way to go. You know, you herp a little bit in the morning, go back to the hacienda. You know, you herp a little in the afternoon, go grab some tacos, you know, a cerveza, and then go back out and herp all night, and then get back at 3 in the morning or so, have a couple more beers, sleep in an actual bed. Like, who's better than us? So I urge my fellow herpers to do what you can economically, but if you can glamp it, do it. It really like keeps the motivation, you know.
Yeah. Yes. So your philosophy on herping is whiskey for your men, beer for your horses after every trip out.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. I mean, I'm not a big boozer, but I feel like so many people are like, how do I phrase this? We have target species, right? We have a goal, and the goal is fantastic, but it still should be a great, fun, enjoyable adventure, regardless of whether you achieve the target species or not. And I'd like to reiterate that to people, because I know I've had some friends that, like, they herped it really hard. They came up empty handed. They're like, this is bullshit. Oh, sorry. I don't know if you guys curse on the show, but this is bull crap. And, I'm upset. Well, you shouldn't be, because you had a great time with your buddies and got to see some wilderness and be out in the field. And I really, really think that people should genuinely focus on the extra stuff that's around the target species. You know what I mean? And whether I found that pine snake, we found that pine snake or not, it was still an awesome trip, an awesome venture. And I feel like that really makes it that much special on both sides, you know?
Well, I mean, from what I recollect from that episode, you found like what 1/4 of Florida's amphibians. You and Nipper.
So we found all 6 Florida toads in a week.
Yeah.
So that's cool.
crazy.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
that's cool. Yeah, and we weren't even like trying to do that. It just and don't get me wrong.
Even sweeter.
We covered. Ooh, man, we probably did 3,000-4,000 miles that week, just traveling like place to place to place looking for stuff.
Jeez.
So it's not like we went to one park and found all 6. No, we went from the middle of Florida to the top left, then to the top right, then back to the middle, you know?
Yeah.
So,
Well, you know what that means. It means that Nipper owes you a spot or two of your next trip over to Greece.
he did. He gave me spots, man. It just, I went there on the wrong time of the year. So, yeah, he was like, oh, you're going to go down this one road and there's a creek underneath the road. You'll see it. There's like a culvert. And I'm like, I'm standing on that culvert. It's stone, it's rock, it's completely dried up. So, but I'm gonna go back, to be continued. You know, there's a scorpion I gotta find, there's a frog I gotta find, there's a salamander I gotta find. So,
yeah,
that's what we do.
Speaking of salamanders, you ever consider doing some more like Appalachian Mandarin trips at all?
Oh God, I want to so badly. I need to go back to Salamander Mecca. I proposed to my fiance in Asheville, right outside Lake Lure, in that area, right where all the hurricane destroyed that poor community. But again, I went at the wrong time of year, so like I flipped a ton of stones and I found nothing, and I got ridiculed by Nipper because I went to Salamander Mecca and came home empty-handed, metaphorically speaking. still got a fiance out of it.
I was gonna say Salamander's fiance. Which is the greater prize?
But I mean, that's just a testament to how awesome she is, that she's like, 2 more stones and then we're leaving. I'm like, okay.
And you flip 3 and she still doesn't get mad at you.
Yeah, exactly. So,
you got any other herp trips planned out in the future?
yeah, I've got, like I said, going to try and make it back out to Arizona or New Mexico in the fall and the autumn. I want to do some more Florida stuff, probably in June, July, like maybe do some of those Keys trips, rocket runs down to the Keys. I know Jake and Sky, they want to come down and maybe do some northern Keys, southern Florida rocket run type stuff, long weekend type stuff. But honestly, just I want to focus on the Florida list, and I want to focus on trying to make a herp trip into a, how do I phrase this? I don't want to say a micro vacation, but I want to be able to
It's a break.
A break.
You know?
Yeah, just take a break. Just veg out, you know, and just like road cruise a little at night, go back and hang, wake up, maybe do a little hiking, grab a late breakfast, you know, and just kind of just chill, man. And if the animals are there, then rock and roll.
You got to describe it to us, Phil. What is a Florida breakfast? What is a morning routine in Florida?
Oh, I'm a fat guy, man. It used to just be coffee and a cigarette, but now, I mean, I want to, if I'm on a trip, you know, I want to get some eggs and bacon, maybe some cheesy grits, and just get nothing too heavy that's gonna make me feel like a fat bastard on the trail. But I need to eat something good, because I probably won't. We probably won't be eating for 5 or 6 hours, and you know, you can bring a trail mix, oats bar or whatever with you, but I like to eat good, because we may not eat till late and it may be junk food on the way, stop and grab McDonald's before the next drive or whatever. So
Yeah, Ramblers. This is specifically if you're herping in Florida. But I mean, the reason I bring it up is I remember in parts of Texas and making a test since the last time we were in East Texas, like the freaking gas stations, man, they sell like different cuts of meat. It's just amazing. It's
oh
just
man, dude, what's that? Stripes, right?
they are in stripes, yeah, but they're I think
Yeah.
Laredo, Texas, taco
No, no, no,
company,
no. I'm talking about the. Oh, you're talking about the restaurant, Laredo Taco Company.
the
No, I was
actual
saying,
company within
yeah.
it. Within,
I'm just
but they're
thinking,
all over.
yeah, yeah, dude. There's that one Stripes in, I think it's in Alpine, Texas,
Okay.
and there's one Stripes, and like they make breakfast burritos every morning, and and it's like fresh green chilies in there. Like, dude, who's better than you, man? Like, oof, just grab that and go. Hit the desert.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a big time foodie, so I just love that at least a
Yeah.
slight local touch. It's
Have
just
you been to down to Del Rio or no?
oh no, just
Okay.
southeast Texas for me. Not
Okay,
much.
so we took Nipper down to Del Rio and gave him his first real burrito. And this is one of those scenarios where like you get out of the car and your phone goes, boom, welcome to Mexico, and like you're not in Mexico, you're just that
Yeah.
close. And and yeah, I remember him saying, like, how do you eat this thing? This is like your calories for the week. This is the size of your head. How do you eat this? And meanwhile, all of us are just like almost done. But it's like, dude, when you're in Texas, man, you gotta eat, right?
Yeah.
Gotta
Oh,
eat.
100%.
I just imagine him there. Where's just holding and trying to figure out where to start? It's like, where's the bangers and mash?
Yeah, exactly. Oh yeah,
It's that all in one, They
yeah.
can't use forks or spoons. It's
There's no mushy peas in it.
Yeah, yeah. No, he's a big fan of the proper English breakfast, but or huevos rancheros
that's
in
heavy.
Marfa. Yeah, huevos rancheros in Marfa, Texas. That's fantastic. Love it.
Well, I mean, Nate, that breakfast we had with Dieter, oh my gosh,
That was a pretty good
that's
place.
pretty good. Jeez. Oh, that was solid.
Did it come? It came in a styrofoam container.
No, it's
I mean, it was ran by Hispanics. It was straight up just a Mexican restaurant. It was
Oh, okay.
legit.
It was a
That's
real
all.
restaurant. It wasn't like a styrofoam, just take it and go kind of thing.
No,
Nice, nice,
no, set up shop.
nice. Love it. Love it.
it was the type of restaurant where Brian talks to them in Spanish, and they all of a sudden get their eyes light up, and they're actually happy. So,
Stop.
one
It
of
helps.
us, one of us.
It helps, for sure. I mean, I forget the relationship with Greece. Why? I'm sorry, I'm not too familiar. So,
So
you have? Are
my
you
fiance,
Grecian?
no. Well, I mean, they say I am now, but my fiance is Greek, and she's from
Yeah.
a little island in the Eastern Mediterranean, south of the Aegean. Well, it's technically the Aegean, but her father passed away, and we had to go there for the funeral, and it was very much a knee jerk excursion, but we made the best of it, and I tried to do a little herping. If I could, if there's a little downtime in the evening or whatever, I go walk the road with a flashlight and see, because it's very, very deserty on that island. And but Nipper is a huge fan of that island in Herping, and he's got almost every species from it. And there's an endemic scorpion, an endemic frog, and an endemic salamander, and they're only found on that island. And I tried, but it was the wrong time of year. Everything was asleep or hiding because it was very hot and very dry. And next time we go, we got to go in the rainy when it's a little more rainy. So, yeah, but Greece is amazing.
When would that be, like early in the year?
I think if I waited on no, not early in the year per se, but more June, July, and then September, October, that would be more optimal, supposedly.
So kind of monsoonish.
Yeah, very monsoonish.
I mean, I would aim for October possibly. Like I remember on our herping destinations, Greece, Italy, they're up there in terms of European herping destinations.
Oh yeah.
I'm really a fan of the Lafe that inhabit, those parts.
Oh God, man, dude, I don't know what I would do if I found a leopard rat. Dude, what do you just hold it? You just hold it and stare at it and thank God that you found it. Like that's, dude, leopard rat or any of the Montpelier snakes. Oh my Lanta. Anything in Malpolon, Gina, it's oof.
Mm-hmm. I'm much more basic. I'm fine with a 4-line rat snake.
Dude, 4-lines are cool, man.
Giddy. They're really cool. They're not
really cool.
They're not seen anymore. It's such a shame that they just zoinked out of the hobby.
I know.
Yeah, I would love to see some European Viperos.
Yeah, man. Yeah. And I do feel like, Italy, Greece, amazing, amazing herping, but specifically Greece, because of the vastness of the islands and the diversity of the species, there's not it's not as much diversity in snakes as other places around the world, obviously, but it's still super unique and unlike anything I've ever seen. I've not traveled in Europe besides Greece, so I'm no one to talk. But the few islands that we went to, absolutely incredible. And I can't fathom finding some of the stuff that like Nippers found in terms of, like you said, Vipera or ladder rats or whatever,
Ladder
racers.
Raptors, cool, man. Yeah.
Yeah. I was
So
gonna say,
European.
you could probably. I heard that Greek food is actually pretty good. I mean, I'm assuming all of us have had a gyro at some point or another, but
Oh man, it's the greatest food I've ever eaten. And there's amazing food in the United States. There's amazing food. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that Greek food is the best food. I'm not saying that, but the food that I ate there was so much better than anything in the US in terms of quality and like what you like. I had a cheeseburger, okay? Just a normal cheeseburger. It was the greatest cheeseburger I ever had because it wasn't our hormone ridden, have to call it organic, otherwise no one's gonna buy it beef. You know what I mean? It's weird, man. And plus they put oregano in it. It was delicious. Ugh. Amazing.
I was gonna say that because I'm actually a fan of like history, like especially like Byzantine, so medieval Greek history, if you want to call it that.
Yeah.
I listened to one podcast and they had like a guest professor on. It's like it's talking about like the aspects of class and how that kind of taints our view of certain things. Like it's like, oh, you look at Greek food, it's best food, it clears French food by a mile, but French food has this aura about it that
Oh, for sure.
Greek food can't beat.
Yeah. Every single Greek thing I tried, I tried as much as I could, when in Rome, as they say. And I tried as much Greek food as I could. And some of the stuff I'd eaten stateside, like a gyro, and American gyro is trash. It's like a meatball that they carve up and throw some not good feta in it. And I can't tell you, I'm speechless as to how to verbally articulate how great this food was.
And you probably can, man, and that's all right.
You just can't. It's rough.
You have to have it yourself, yeah.
Yeah, and like her island has a specialty dish that they only make on that island. It's called macarones, macaronis, but it's macarones, and it's a pasta dish that is with I believe it's a potato-based noodle with caramelized onions, and it is. I know it sounds gross, but it's so sweet.
No, not at all.
Rich and just fantastic. And they have goat cheese on top, and it's just, oh god, it's amazing. I only got to eat it once, and my fiance had been ranting. She's like, I can't wait to get it. I can't wait to get it. I can't. Her aunt made it for her specifically because she was there. And because I guess they don't really eat it that often because it's like us eating the same thing all the time. It's endemic to our area. But yeah, the food was fantastic, man. Absolutely fantastic. And I wish I was there for better reasons. Obviously, we're there for a funeral, but when we do go back, I'm very excited to experience it in a second light.
Yeah, I mean, I can't speak for you guys, but obviously it's unfortunate, I guess, celebration of life. And then the next time, celebrate living, type of deal.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely.
Well, look, I hear lamb is a big deal. Like most of the protein for them is it lamb or?
Yeah, I mean, it is. I mean, they got beef and chicken just like everybody else, and a lot of pork too. But lamb is more socially acceptable, I think. I think it's more of a staple than it is to us. Whether it just be the abundance of them, I feel like it's a staple, no different than our pork. I think if you had to compare it, the beef and the chicken would probably be the same, but they would probably do more lamb than they would pork. I mean, I'm just guessing. I was there for a week. What do I know? But
no, Phil, you gotta understand. You were over there. We're not. You're the expert in this situation.
I'm not an expert by any
You're the officially licensed travel guide.
Nice.
The reason I bring it up is just I kind of wish the same was true over here. I love lamb. I think it's like the best kind of meat out there. It's just
Well, and I was never a big
The
fan of
unique
feta.
flavor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. I was never a big fan of feta cheese, and I know that when I went over there, I was like, I have to have real feta. And my fiance, she always told me, she's like, feta in the US is all right. Like you eat it because it's there, but you're not gonna like seek it out per se. And I'm sitting there and I'm eating this cheese just raw, not on a cracker or a sandwich or in a meat. They're just eating a piece of cheese, like we would have a piece of mozzarella, right? And it's so freaking good. And I look at her uncle, who we were staying with, and I asked him, he speaks very good English. And I was like, why is this feta so much better than the United States? And he explained that he says that to make real Greek feta, it is comprised of goat's milk and sheep's milk. But because of US laws, they won't let the manufacturers in the United States make it out of the sheep. It's only the goat. And that's why it doesn't taste as good. And like that just it makes sense to me. It made sense to me, but it leaps and bounds different taste.
I'm sorry, Phil. They're on to you now.
I know.
Godspeed, brother. Godspeed.
Yep. I hear the helicopters in the background.
He doesn't have any seeds. Please.
Yeah, exactly.
Greek
I'm sure
government's
we
like
won't
he let
be.
the Greek government's
Meanwhile,
like they let national secret out.
I made jokes, legitimate jokes for all the undercover fish and wildlife listening to this. I made jokes. I was like, look, if I find that endemic scorpion, one is going to accidentally crawl into my dirty sock laundry, and if it happens to make it back to the United States and ends up in a terrarium, like it was in my dirty laundry. It happens. It's a scorpion. I made that joke while we were there. A German tourist tried to smuggle endemic scorpions in his dirty socks and got caught in Germany. What are the odds? Great minds think alike. Thank God I didn't find the bugger and try it, right?
I mean, he was halfway there. That's insane.
Yeah, he was more than halfway there.
Yeah, it was insane to predict. Oh yeah, the great German portal, right? Jeez.
That's it. Yeah.
Jeez. That's wild. Well, we did touch on you are quite a bit of a herpetoculturist. So, you deal with, quite a few venomous. I guess why croats? Why the vipers? Are they just the absolute in terms of snake form and function to you, or
No, I'm an elapid guy by like
oh wow.
I'm an elapid guy through and through. How like if a snake has a neck, it's not as appealing as if it has no neck. I like snakes with no necks, if that makes sense. I like elapids. I like linear snakes. I like colubrid. I'm a colubrid guy, through and through colubrid guy. But I think I did it for so long, and as much as I love cobras and the like, it's a pain in the ass, man. I'm older. I'm tired. I don't want to deal with it. I don't want to constantly I got Dermarcon. I got to clean their poo. I don't need more poo on the ceiling. You know what I mean? So I cut back, and now the only elapids I have is the Rinkals, because that's a project that I've been working on for way too long, and they're arguably my favorite snake. And then I have a handful of cobras that are long-term pets. I mean, I've got one cobra that's almost 20 years old. I got another cobra that's probably pushing 17. So I've got long-term pets, but like when the day comes and they do go up to snake heaven, I probably won't be replacing them with more cobras. I find that smaller vipers are not only easier to work with and less maintenance, but I can make prettier enclosures. I can make more aesthetically pleasing vivarium without them colubriding it up. You know what I mean? Rattlesnakes don't poop on the ceiling. That's just a fact. Rattlesnakes also don't knock over every piece of decor that I put in there. They may knock over a fake cactus, but they're not going to completely excavate the entire enclosure like elapids do. And I feel like that was a decision in the back of my mind as I got older and well, I don't want to say wiser, but more lazy, maybe that's the word. I don't know. So
I have heard that like rock rattlesnakes or lepidus are arguably the easiest snake to keep in the whole world. So
I mean, they're one of the easiest snakes to keep in the whole world if you do it right.
If you don't live in a high humidity place such as Florida.
Yeah, I mean, and like I know guys that have rock rattlesnakes in Florida and they don't have a desert room like me. They have it in their normal snake room with normal humidity, just like their other tropical stuff. They just don't miss them, or what have you. Excuse me. They're also not trying to breed them. That's a huge deal. It is very hard to breed rock rattlesnakes if you don't know what you're doing. I can say at this junction, I have an idea, but none of my animals are old enough to do it. I probably have another 3, 4 years before they're old enough to do it. I very much did rock rattlesnakes with the long game in mind. Um, but in terms of them not messing up their cage, eating good, pooping good, being well behaved, they're very easy snakes. I don't think that they are easy snakes in terms of keeping a venomous. They do not ride hooks well. That's why a lot of guys in the field will use rubber tip tweezers or rubber tip hemostats to grab them because they
Oh
don't ride
yeah,
hooks. Yeah, they're just
oh yeah,
they're very
100%.
uncooperative. Yeah. My Tamaulipan rock rattlesnake juveniles are heat-seeking missiles to the point where I cannot open the enclosure with my hands whatsoever. They will literally just fly out and now they're on the floor. Um, you really need to know what you're doing. You should be well versed in venomous handling before you ever try and keep a rock rattlesnake. They look small and cute and they just sit there all balled up like a rock and they look adorable. And then you breathe on them wrong and they're a bat from hell. Um, but they are very neat and clean animals and just sit there looking pretty in their fake desert enclosure. And I like that. I like the window into the ecosystem. And I've got to witness a lot of really cool observations with rock rattlesnakes in terms of them doing vertical ambush, where instead of them choosing a higher elevation and striking down at prey, they're actually at the base of a stone aiming up because the top of the stone is where the heat source is going to be in theory. And the theory is that a lizard is going to gravitate to that heat spot and bask, and then the snake can strike vertical up the rock face to the animal. So like I get to witness those observations, which is a really cool thing for me. I love watching animals. I love observing animals being animals in captivity. I think that's really cool. Um, but I've just gravitated towards smaller, stubbier stuff, if that makes sense.
Yeah, but you say 3 to 4 years on, your Viper projects. Is that because as a rule of thumb or semi generalization, like Vipers are a bit long lived, or just they take longer to
No,
mature type of
no.
deal?
Most vipers as a whole follow colubrids in the 3 to 5 years. They're ready to rock and roll. 3 years for girls, 2 years for boys, just like rat snakes. Like you can do it, but rock rattlesnakes, Lepidus, Clobberi, Marulus, Durangos, they take 5 years minimum, both sexes. And it's going to take you 2, 3 years to get them to acclimate to your enclosure and your room and your environment because of stress, and they want to make sure this is a good place to live and a good place to rear their young and what have you. So um people that are much more knowledgeable about them than I have basically said that if you get an adult, it's going to be 2, 3 years before it's going to breed for you, even though it's old enough and healthy enough to breed. So I've got babies that I've been raising up for about 3 years. So I figure I've got at least another 2, maybe 3 years before they're old enough to breed. And at that point, they'll have been acclimated enough in my care that they would choose to breed, if that makes sense.
No, that's awesome, man. To hold on to things for so long, you just got to play the waiting game, the long game with snakes.
Yeah, yeah, for sure, for sure. And I mean, and don't get me wrong, I've bought adults like thinking, okay, I'm going to breed them next year, and
Sure.
sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't.
Hmm.
But I also feel like I really enjoy raising up my animals, and I like to get babies and feed them right and get them going right, and I got to watch that animal grow up to maturity and then hopefully go full circle. And that makes me really happy. And then I've got snakes like my water pythons that I bought them as babies and raised them up. And now I can't get them to breed to save my life. So hopefully this year I'll get something out of them. But
Well, I mean, how old are they? Because I know for sure for pythons, they usually. I mean, it depends with some. I know the males you can
yeah,
start them early.
the female's almost 5 and the male is almost 4. So
Okay, so yeah,
yeah, they're
right,
old enough. So
right up there. Cool,
yeah,
cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Cloudberry just gave me a whole new idea for a T-shirt. If you just want to stick with me,
What do you
uh,
got?
uh, Fantastic Four, the Thing. What's his saying?
Oh,
I don't remember.
It's
oh no.
it's clobbering time.
Clobbering time. It's clobber. Literally, I was like, it's clobbering time.
Jeez. That was
and his
sly. That was a
and
good
he's
one.
rocky, and he looks like a rock too. So
That's
Wow.
true. That's true. That's a good one. That is. I give credit where credit's due. That's a good one. Oh, geez.
Is that why you pause? You're like, hold on, I need to brainstorm real quick. Uh, that's
no,
hilarious.
it was something else, but that just I was like, oh,
I mean,
spark of inspiration or idiotification. I'll let you be the decider on that one.
going to what you spilled on, Phil. I mean, that is why we keep the variety and just why we can.
Yeah.
I'm not so much of a horticulturalist. I mean, I will someday soon add more critters in the future, but still, I completely get the vibe, the gist of raising and just seeing that progression. As you,
Yeah, man. And like at the end of the day, I am never going to recoup a fraction I'm never going to recoup a percentage of the money I've invested into animals over the years. So I do it for the love of the game, man. You know what I mean? If I breed stuff, that's great. I'm not going to ever think about selling babies or anything like that. If I do, cool. If I don't, cool. I have them because I love them, and then they're glorified pets to a certain extent. And I really feel like once you zone in on what you really are passionate about and you focus on that, it really is a game changer in your keeping and your appreciation of the animals you have. And like I've had a lot of animals and a lot of different animals, and a lot of them weren't for me. And I got rid of them, or I traded them, or I gave them to friends or what have you. And now I'm finally at a point where I know what I know what I like. And there's still stuff I'm gonna get an itch for. But focusing on arid and desert species and making the room, trying to cater the room to that, I felt like has really been good for me in terms of not having to worry about having different biomes. I can focus on a general room, ambient heat, ambient humidity, all that. And yes, I still want blood pythons, and yes, I still want dart frogs, but like that's what I have friends for. I can live vicariously through my friends, and we have social media, and go about it that way and enjoy my desert room the way it is.
Yeah. I was gonna say, speaking of desert species, can't believe it's been this long, but I'm pretty sure you keep Bogardofus, right?
I do. Yes, I do. I've got several different Trans-Pecos rat snakes. And I will be pairing silvers, and I will be pairing Wild Rose Pass this year. This will be my first time ever putting them together, and we're going to see what happens. So
Yeah, because I just got my first Subok a few months ago. So
nice. Congratulations. I didn't know that.
I'm looking for a female because apparently he's het albino. I don't know if that was just the seller, just slapping something on there to
Could be.
upmarket, but thinking it was only like 125, so I doubt it was.
Yeah, I mean, subocs aren't expensive because it's a very niche animal. They are growing in popularity, but it's still I really feel like they're a herper's snake. They're hands down probably my favorite colubrid at this point. I love them. They're derpy and silly and super chill and savages to feed and poop and live, and quintessential West Texas, man. It doesn't get better than that. Talk about an animal that has evolved perfectly for its ecosystem, just like the rock rattlesnakes.
Yeah, and I think they said this to you before, Phil, but the patterning on their back, it looks like something off like, say, Navajo pottery almost.
Oh, most definitely. Most definitely. And then it's like if you ever listen to Pingle's podcast, he had Dusty Rhodes, the Subok expert and author of the Complete Subok. He had him on air talking about Suboks, and he was mentioning, I can't remember where, but there's a particular region of West Texas that has this unique yellowish white color to it. And the Suboks from that area look like that color of the earth. But when you're standing there, you can't see it. However, if you're in an airplane or satellite imagery, it's the same color as the snake. And it wasn't until we evolved as a society to be able to fly up that high and look down on the planet to realize that that's why the snake is freaking yellow. Like, how cool is that? They knew, they evolved to know. Like, that's amazing, you
That's
know?
anti-raptor defense right there.
Exactly. Exactly. Screw you, birds of prey.
Inferior archosaurs.
Yes, yes.
It's funny if you know those kinds of rat snakes are up your alley. What do you think of green rats, Senticolus?
Senecalis is awesome. Having felt the pain of my my good friend Dustin search and search and search and search and come up empty-handed and finally find them. I think Senecalis is super cool, man. I can't wait to find my own in the wild. I think they're awesome. I don't think I'd ever keep them. I feel like they are very much a snake that needs way more tender loving care than other rat snakes. But they are part of that desert rat snake group, man. And I think they're gorgeous and they're awesome. It's like a desert gonyosoma. It's super cool.
You know, you say that, and while you're accurate, they have a pretty huge range. You know, going all the way down to past Mexico. I mean, down to
Yeah, yeah.
Central America. It's impressive. So obviously they must. I don't even know. I guess habitat partition somehow. I guess technically it's the northern green rats that we have down in South Arizona. So there'll be some acclimatization differences, but
Yeah, oh, for sure.
something
For
to
sure.
look into. It's interesting.
Yeah,
They're cool.
yeah, absolutely. And them and Bajas, I always tell myself if I can
Yeah.
successfully breed subox to the point where I have babies I'm willing to part with, because let's be real, I'm just gonna keep them all. I would probably use that money to spring for Bajas because I feel like I need to have Bajas. I need to have both the bogeys. Um, but if I do that, then I'm definitely gonna like if I can get them and I can take care of them well, I feel like that'll give me the courage to do Senecolas.
That'd be a sweet trifecta to try out, for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
Any other species you're
Well,
thinking
my
about
bad,
keep?
Nate. I still wanted to cut in. So Wild Road Pass. So what's the overview? I mean, I'm not really caught up with
So
Pecos.
Wild Rose Pass is a highway in West Texas. It's a
Yeah.
scenic highway. People drive it just to look at the pretty scenery, but the subox that come off that highway are bright orange with jet black Sharpie marker black lines and letter H's and pigmentation. And they have pink hues along the sides. They're just really attractive looking snakes. And much like other prize localities like gray banded king snakes or corn snakes, the same way that you have like your Okatee corn, the Wild Rose Pass locality is like the Okatee of the subox, if that makes sense.
Sure. And like that finny tip, I've seen photos of. They are just striking rat snakes.
Oh yeah.
Really nice. Really killer.
Yeah. So I've got Wild Rose Pass locality. I've got silver coloration, no locality known because they're just genetic morphs. I've got one River Road albino from a good friend Dave Powell. He gifted me. That's actually my only albino snake I own. And then I've also got Alpine, Texas locality, and that's it for the subox. Yeah,
I mean, as an albino, how is it? Pretty because
dude,
I'm
it's
typically
it's kind of pinkish. It's pinkish. It's not pink. It's pinkish, and the stripes are almost yellow. They're not really too white, but the eyes are red. The lips are red. It's definitely an albino, and it's still a baby. It's only 2 years old. Excuse me. So I'm eager to see what it turns into. It's a female, so eventually I'll probably pair it to a het for albino silver color, which is basically anery, and hopefully get something unique or funky out of her. But just normal looking albino, nothing crazy. I'm 99% sure it's T negative.
hmm,
Okay. Uh, so is there any species that you want to keep that you haven't gotten around to yet?
Oh geez. Yeah, the problem now is the cost of the animal. A lot of the snakes that I want to keep are very expensive, and I feel like I don't want to I don't want to take on a very expensive animal if I'm not able to. I don't want to say this wrong. I don't want to commit to it because let's be real. If I don't do a good job and I fail, not only is that horrible for the animal, but I got a lot of money. So I don't want to take that risk just yet. But
Not good
there's
on the wallet psyche, you know.
yeah, exactly. There's a lot of dwarf bitis that I want. The desert horned adder from Namibia, which is Bitis uh, Zirapaga, which is a desert adder. Kind of looks like like a Bitis, like a gaboon, or excuse me, like a puff and a Cerastes had a baby kind of thing. Um, I also like Bitis cornuta, many horned adder. Um, I'm trying to think what else that just off the top of my head. I would love to get more stiletto snakes. I'm I'm still very enamored with them. That project I don't think was a failure, even though I lost all my animals. I don't think it was a failure because I learned a lot and I shared that information with other keepers of Actitaspis genus. Um, and I feel like there's so much we don't know about those animals, and no one's studying them because they are fossorial and they live underground, and the only time people see them is crossing a dirt road while they're hiking, or it happened to be in their garden, or it happened to be under their work boot on their front porch. And I feel like I want to keep more of them and just learn as much as I can because I find them genuinely fascinating. And I know that it just goes back to keeping dirt in tubs, but because they're not pretty and they're not exciting, but they still fascinate me. So
You gotta love little murder worms.
yeah, dude, murder worms. So I mean, for those listening, we're talking about the stiletto snakes are a subterranean species of snake. They formerly were colubrids. They're not colubrids. They're their own group of animals, um, and they are venomous. And they're I guess you could consider them a rear fang, but it's not. It's its own fang system where the fangs actually pop out the side of the mouth. Like a stiletto knife, like a switchblade knife. You physically cannot pick them up by the head because they will come out the side and stab you with that fang. There are species that are lethal. Most of them are not. However, the venom is so destructive that you're guaranteed to have major loss of limb and or tissue damage, and then possibly succumb to your wounds through infection or what have you. Um, they're not pretty. They're usually black or dirt brown, but they're still absolutely fascinating. And it's an extremely primitive group of animals with a very unique hunting style, and we just don't know a lot about them because they're hard to find, and people don't want to keep them in the hobby because you're keeping a tub full of dirt because you never see them because they're under the dirt. So sorry to ramble if that was rambly.
Well,
No, man. I
that's
mean,
in the
that's
podcast
the
name.
case for yeah, shit. That's the case for fossorials. You know, it's just in their nature to be pretty damn hard to research.
Yeah, yeah,
Snakes are already pretty damn hard to research, so
yeah.
it's a
So and
double whammy.
there's there's a lot that needs to be learned, and I want to learn it. And uh they have gotten very expensive, not because they're hard to find, but because the field collectors in Africa are not willing to collect them because of how dangerous it is for their guys to catch them. You know, because if you say, "Oh, I want you to go, you're a snake catcher in Africa, and I need you to catch me baby cobras." Well, they go and they catch baby cobra and they scoop it up with a hook, or they pick it up by the tail and they put it in a container and they export it, right? You can't do that with stiletto snakes because they will snap right around and they will stab you with that fish hook. And they call them side stabbing snakes. And they're just harder and harder to get outside of Africa now because the guys don't want to catch them. Yeah, I can't blame them.
Understandably so, yeah.
Yeah.
I
So
mean, you know, it seems like the African garter snakes would be up your alley.
it is. I have a Sundavali.
Hey, nice.
Yeah, I have one Sundavali. It came in on a shipment from South Africa, and per Florida law, it's considered venomous. In other parts of the world, it's not, which I think is crazy because it's a front fixed fanged lapid. Um, but I managed to get that. That it's a female, and I know there was someone had a male, but they wanted an arm and a leg for it, an exuberant amount of money, and I wasn't about to do that. Especially since I couldn't go and see it in person and actually probe it to make sure it was a male. Um, but again, dude, Dirt Snake Mafia, Dirt Snakes for life. I love them.
Which you say is the better ripoff of a North American snake, the African garter snakes or the Australian copperheads?
Just
I think that
that's a good one.
I think that the term, honestly, in terms of ripoff, it's African garter snake because the garter snakes in the U.S. look like garters. They have the zigzag, the lattice, the lace. You know what I mean? African garters don't have that. They have some zigzags, they have some banding, some dorsal patterning, but like they don't look like a garter, at least not in my opinion. While as copperheads in Australia, dude, those are coppery heads. You know what I mean? I feel like those copperheads are way more metallic copper than our copperheads. So I don't know. I'm the wrong guy to ask.
Mhm.
That is a good question.
So, do you have any other questions, Bryant?
No, I mean that was a good one to ponder on. I'm like, I kind of
Yeah,
have a little bit of accordance. I'm like, they are metallic looking, like they're gorgeous looking snakes in Australia.
yeah. Yeah,
I
but
mean,
I
I
do.
guess that does open up the gateway to Kistradon. Obviously you're in the south, you got the swamp lions, but I mean,
Yeah,
are
boy.
any of the copperheads,
Yeah.
fascinating to you
So
that
I
you'd
keep
like to keep?
Transpecos. Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
I
some of the best. Yeah.
dude,
What
the
was it?
best.
Take the gas or what
Yeah, it's
was it?
Pictogaster. Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, you got it. I love Pictogaster. I didn't really appreciate them until I started keeping them. I got like 10 of them for just
wow.
given to me. Um, and I wound up giving away a couple to buddies, and then I kept uh 2.2.1 for myself. And that one little unknown was a baby that is just, dude, stupid, crazy, gorgeous. And it actually passed away this year. And I don't know why. I had it for at least almost 2.5, 3 years, and it just passed away. I think it was dehydrated, to be honest. I don't know how to figure that out because it was kept the exact same way as the adults, but it just didn't make it.
Are they
Um,
just slower to succumb to it because they come from such an arid region anyway?
yeah, I think maybe I don't know. I really don't know, but I got really cool observations out of that one because I didn't like I have them all set up in drawers with Aspen and just very simple setups, but that one I had set up in a Viv with a background and fake cactuses and like fake sheet rocks that I made out of excavator clay, and like I love that little bastard, but for whatever reason, it rolled on me, and that's I hate to say it and sound cold, but like it's the name of the game, man. We keep this many
Yeah.
animals.
Oh yeah.
They're living creatures, and dude, I haven't had a how do I phrase this without sounding really cold? I haven't had a snake choke me up the way that one did. That one did choke me up pretty bad. I was like, "Wow, man, what did I do?" Like, I'll never know. So, but yeah, dude, pick the gassers. Stupid cool. Love them.
Yeah, and then there's obviously I love a good can teal. I'm way more partial to the species that say like much darker, like what B lineaeus or yeah.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
forgot. Yeah, because Taylor eye is more caramel color.
yeah. Taylors have like the crazy yellows and oranges and stuff too.
yeah.
Um, I never really got into a lot of South American stuff, man. Like I had jumping vipers for a little bit. I've had different bothrops for a little bit. I just I had eyelash vipers of all
Oh,
different
not
colors.
not to cut in, but jumping seemed crazy. I mean, just the freaking facial morphologies are
Oh,
wild
yeah,
on them.
incredible, man,
I mean,
incredible.
mano de piedra. I mean, literally just
Yeah,
rock face sculpted.
yeah, dude, for sure, for sure. What a fitting name, right?
Yeah.
And I had
Little
I had
bushies.
Olmecs. Yeah, yeah, the little bushies. I had Olmecs for a little while. I did a big female Olmec. It was a wild caught import, and dude, as thick as my forearm, like just a.
Sure.
And I could have sworn she was gravid, and I was like, I'm gonna keep her. I'm gonna let her drop. I'm gonna raise like 4 or 5 babies. I'll sell off mom, right? Dude, I had her like 6 months. She never dropped. I think she reabsorbed her babies. She never
Wow.
dropped. And then one day I was like, you know what? Screw it. And I palpated her, and there's nothing there. I was like, okay. And I wound up selling her to a buddy. But yeah, I never was big on South American stuff, but I definitely I've been blessed to work with a lot of South American stuff, and I feel like that in itself was cool to reassure me. You know what I mean? So like I got to play with Cantiels and see if I like work with Cantiels and see if I really want to take them home, kind of thing. Um, so
You got a free feeler. You get to feel them
yeah,
out.
yeah, I got a test drive.
You don't get to keep them. You don't want to
Yeah,
keep them. Because
yeah.
I will say Southern stuff. I mean, first of all, for the most part, it's more intense.
Oh yeah,
Obviously, you got some arboreals which seem more laid back and they're more predictable in their habits and whatnot. But still, as an overall, they seem more
yeah.
intense.
Oh, for sure, man. For sure. They're always switched on. They're always looking for like something that's gonna happen. Um, but
They're still,
the whole test drive thing is definitely a thing. And hindsight, I kept West African gaboons for a long time. Not because I loved gaboon vipers, but I always had them because they're just a great training animal for people wanting to get their hours and experience large vipers. But it's cool to just have one in the collection, you know? And I also like the fact that anybody who says, "Oh, I really want a gaboon viper," well, when they're done training with me after 2, 3 years of gaboon viper, they're like, "Yeah, I don't need to buy one. I'm good," you know. So,
I was gonna say, what's it like keeping a gaboon? Is it kind of just like keeping a fancy log, or
oh yeah, dude, it's fancy log. It's fancy log until cleaning day, and then the log
then
wants to
it's
rip your
spicy
face
log?
off. Yeah, yeah, exactly. But no, they're rewarding in their own way. If you set them up naturalistic and give them leaf litter, like they're super cool. The whole ambush hunter thing and like watching them track with their eyes is incredible. Um, but you got to have a big, nice enclosure with the leaf litter and the jungle atmosphere, and like you got to do it like that. If you just put them on newspaper in a water bowl, it just
what are
doesn't.
you doing?
Yeah, what are you doing? You're not doing the snake justice.
It's
Man,
like the picture of some guy keeping like a high end um, supercar in a trailer park. You know, like a Ferrari in a
Yeah,
trailer park.
no, no. I wouldn't say trailer park because I don't want to be that. I don't want to be insulting to the trailer park, but I will say it's like a guy keeping a high end Ferrari in a pods container. You know what I mean? Like it's like you put you put like the Ferrari from Ferris Bueller's Day Off, but you put it in a pods container with no climate control and like squirrels are living in the back. You know what I mean? Like you can't. You got to do it justice, man.
You're defeating the purpose away from the gaze of others. You're just,
Yeah,
what are you
yeah,
doing?
exactly, exactly.
Come on.
Oh man.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if there is a hot, I would want to keep some time. It would probably be Bothricus, the eyelashes.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
That's
Yeah,
what I mean
eyelashes
with
are awesome.
being slower. They seem more predictable and
Yeah,
just more chill.
yeah, yeah. I think eyelashes are a good first venomous for someone that is already well versed with defensive arboreals, if that makes sense.
I mean,
So like,
I have a scrub. Does that
Royal
count as
Stinky.
defense arboreal or?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, yeah, it does. Just don't get bit. You know what I mean?
Well, I don't plan to f with it. I just plan to look at through the glass, go like, oh, it's so pretty.
Yeah, but no, but I think eyelashes are great pet snakes in that regard. And again, going back to the whole rock rattlesnake thing of them not destroying their enclosure, if you get some kind of arboreal snake, even chondros, man, chondros will knock over decor trying to find the perfect perch. Green tree pythons, but eyelash vipers are so delicate. Even like the big heavy set adults, they're so delicate in their movement and they're so precise in their movement that they weave themselves in between the decor, in between the foliage of the vivarium. So you really can have a very aesthetically pleasing enclosure and not worry about them messing it up or wrecking it or whatever. I also have several friends that keep different types of Bothriochus in vivariums with, with other animals like dart frogs. They'll have dart frogs on the bottom with like a waterfall and like a little aquatic paludarium type setup with fish in the bottom. And then at the very top are the vipers living up in the canopy of the enclosure. I think that's super cool.
I, I that kind of reminds me of an idea I've had in the back of my head for a couple of years now. I don't know if I'll ever do it, but I always thought about having like floor to ceiling heights of 8 foot tall by basically the length of the room by a 4 or 5 foot deep enclosure, and having a couple
Yeah.
of paradise flying snakes in there with whatever types of lizards I could just get set up in there, and just
Yeah.
let let a little mini
Dude, that's
ecosystem go
that's
to town.
that's the best, man. The people that have the ability to dedicate a room to as an enclosure, I give them mad props. Like there's that guy on Instagram who has like a giant greenhouse in his backyard, and he has like 5 or 6 different species of snakes just loose in there. Like, and there's rivers and dart frogs and geckos and wild chameleons. And I don't know how I feel about not the same ecosystem species wise. I feel like that's a little, but like if you say I'm making a Panama room or a Honduras room or it's just a Central American room, and you've got some flying snakes in there and some dart frogs and some different anole species, like, dude, that's super cool.
I was gonna say I didn't know flying snakes from Central America, but
Yeah, but you know what I mean. Sorry.
yeah, I know. No,
Even
I
puffing
just,
snakes. Come
Yeah,
on.
yeah, puffing, whatever. Yeah,
I just had to josh you a little bit about
yeah,
that.
yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, Roy does it right. He's kind of the inspiration, the
Oh,
blue.
for sure. Yeah, I forgot about his. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a sweet deal. If it comes with hots and me, I do love our croats through and through, big and small, especially down south. Like and you guys talked about it in your latest Snake Custodies, how they divided it all up: basilicus, Dorissus, yada yada.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
really I'm really more in line with the Yucatans, with those just
Oh, yeah.
those amber red triangle saddle patterns. Just
Oh,
my
dude.
God.
And honestly, some of the ukes that have been captive bred as of the past like 5-10 years, dude, the color contrast of those babies that turn into the adults are incredible.
They're just a badass crow, man. I
Just
love them.
badass. Yeah. Oh, for sure, man. And that's also like I kept blacktails in the past, and I was kind of unimpressed. And then I saw blacktails in the wild. Oh my God. Like just a
Gorgeous.
different animal, man. I really feel like just I should have given them spectrum lighting. I should have given them bigger, better enclosures. What did I know? Live and learn. But yeah, the
Yeah.
those big Yucatans are pretty freaking cool, man.
But then it's unfortunate that we miss out on a pretty big percentage of the small croats too. I mean,
Oh
oh my
yeah,
gosh, Mexico is such a treasure trove of
I know. No, don't get me started, bro.
Stellana croats,
Oh,
man.
I know. Just the different phenotypes from mountain to mountain of Marulus, like, it's just incredible. And to the point where I know that mine are of a particular locality, and literally like a 20-minute drive in a car, and the snake looks completely different. Like that's just amazing.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah. Early, even crap that I was somewhat in range of. I've been to Oaxaca, and Brunus is like stupid endemic over there, and then Polystictus is just a classic. I mean,
Have you
everybody
seen
loves
Polysticus in the wild?
Polystictus. No, 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 no.
Oh, okay.
Everybody loves a classic poly.
Oh yeah,
Love to see one.
yeah, man. Those things are terrifyingly beautiful.
They're kind
Yeah.
of they give off slight Deboya vibes.
Oh, for sure, for sure. But I, oh, oh, that's like a really, really cool snake, but also a snake that gives me the heebie-jeebies.
Oh
If
yeah,
that makes sense.
100%.
You know what I
No,
mean?
100%. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Of the old world stuff, those
yeah,
and the carpet vipers, just
yeah, yeah. I had Siamensis for a little bit, and we treated that snake with mad respect, bro, because it legitimately levitated. Like we make the jokes about levitation and like teleportation. No, that freaking thing would lift 4 or 5 feet off the ground. Crazy. And I've always wanted Palestina, but dude, they're just so expensive, man. They're just so that's we're talking about species that I haven't kept that I would love to keep. I would love to keep Palestina, but I can't afford them snakes, man. They're just expensive.
They're gorgeous too, man.
Gorgeous, gorgeous.
So nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of Middle Eastern stuff that takes your breath away, but
Oh my
just
god.
legality and just
And you know what? Like, there's no reason why we can't. Well, let me rephrase that. There's no reason why Palestina should be as expensive as it is because it is so widely bred in captivity. It's just people are importing it and they're having to pay a lot of money for the import, and that's what rakes the price up. Some of the stuff that comes out of the Sinai, Walternesia. Oh my God, I would love to have Walternesia. Talk about lapids. That I would love to have Walternesia, but no one is going to catch that in the Sinai, and no one's going to export it out of Israel. It's just not going to happen.
I'm sorry, you're speaking on those black pseudo-cobras, whatever.
Yeah. The desert black snake. Yeah, dude, incredible. And there's a particular phenotype that comes out of like southeastern Sinai that is like a milk chocolate brown with black tipping to the scales, and it still has the indigo snake iridescence to it. Like, dude, how cool is that? But like, we're never gonna get it because no one is gonna pay someone the exuberant amount of money to go all the way down there and legitimately export it.
Yeah,
so
you just have to go to, which is a little tricky right now, but still.
Yeah, for sure. One day.
But obviously, that kind of rounds us to like wrinkles, as you brought to our attention earlier. I mean, what an awesome group of snakes.
Oh yeah, man, my babies. I sad to say I've lost a lot over the years, man. Just making mistakes, just legitimately making mistakes and getting bad information and having to do my own homework. And actually, I had a couple people this year that bought animals that were imports, and they were given bad information, like really bad information. And an acquaintance of mine actually lost his animals in brumation because people told him just the wrong stuff. And I feel like that shouldn't be the case. Why are we doing that? This is the 21st century. So
yeah, we should propagate our animals, not extinguish them.
Yeah, exactly.
By specimen, every animal does count. Obviously it's the name of the game. They rolled, stuff happens. But the game is to try and propagate or enjoy.
Yeah, for sure. And I feel like what's that? No.
No, finish it. Go.
I was gonna say that there's a famous photo that Tyrone Ping took. It's one of my all-time favorite photos. It's literally the wallpaper of my computer right now. I wish I could show you guys, but it's a Rinkals in winter coloration, very dark, very drab, basking on a sheet of ice in winter because I guess it woke up early or what have you. And like, they can take the cold, but my acquaintance that informed me of what happened, they told him like, oh yeah, just put him in a bag and just put him in the chiller for like 40 degrees for like 90 days. I'm like, what? No, and sadly, several of his animals did not make it. And he didn't even do the whole 90 days. I think he only did like 30 days and they just didn't do it. So
I mean, talk about prolonged exposure, right? I mean, they're hardy. They could take a couple nights and stuff like that, but
and I also think that just because the ground temp is 40, 3-4 feet underground in the rock escarpment that it's living in,
geothermal, come on.
It's not. It's 60 or 58 or something, I digress.
I was gonna say, even on like a cold-ish day, a snake can get a lot warmer than what the air temp would say it is.
Oh yeah, man, they're smart. They're creatures of Earth. Literally, they're quite ingrained to the Earth, so they know.
For sure.
Absolutely. I have experiences where I have some board sites, and I would flip them throughout the season, right? And it always amazed me how like the fissures when they're dry in summer, as fall comes or say spring, they close up. Usually fall, they close up and they're sealed. And I know snakes have gone down those fissures, right?
Yeah.
And then spring rains come, and I'm still thinking like, well, rain is not going to create fissures. It'll do the opposite, right? But eventually holes appear. I'm just like, I wonder if these fuckers are just waiting till
Yeah.
they're softens and they just push their way up, or
Well,
they wait for a mammal to do it. I don't know.
yeah. Well, you got to be right, man. Especially when you look at like the black soil in Queensland and like the
Yeah.
brown snakes that live in the black soil. Well, dude, it's gonna crack, and they know it's gonna crack, and that's their cue to get the hell out. Like it,
Mm.
incredible, man. Absolutely incredible.
I mean, yeah, not just the snakes, but I mean Spencer's. Like big,
Yeah. Oh yeah,
Have you
for
big,
sure,
big,
dude.
big fauna going down, which is just it's a
Yeah.
trip
have
for
you
my
seen
trip.
that recent Ricky Mack video he posted up?
That's
No,
why I
no, I
bring it.
missed it.
That's why I bring it up,
Yeah.
man. Ricky Mack of the
What happened
Outback.
to him?
No, no, yeah, he released the latest video, herping.
Yeah,
I
on
don't
that
know.
black soil,
Yeah.
right after all the rains, so it's all just dense grass. But he got a Spencer's monitor crossing the road.
Diesel, diesel looking specimen, man,
Epic.
just beautiful.
And man, I
That's
gotta
awesome.
tell you, just looking at that Spencer, it's quickly rising up my list of randoms I want to see. That thing looked gorgeous.
Yeah. Speaking of grass,
Oh,
I'm in the process of what's that?
I was about to say, oh, we forgot to ask what you're smoking tonight.
Oh no, no, this is a cigar. No, speaking of grass and growing grass, I grew grass in enclosures to make the savanna more realistic, I guess you'd call it, whatever. I didn't realize you got to mow it, you got to cut it.
Yeah,
And I had just had grass just keep dying on me. And I'm like, well, maybe it's not meant to grow in a vivarium. And I realized, no, if you mow it similar to hoof stock eating it, it will continue to be good. So I started to grow more grass in Starlight tubs, and now I'm trimming it with scissors and making it appropriate. And my goal is I want to sod some savanna animals and see what they do, because I think that would just be super cool, especially if you have an animal that wants to live under the sod layer. Like, how awesome would that be?
Oh, I can imagine this, if you get stilettos again, they would love that.
Yeah, I mean, not even just stilettos, just like any of these arid, stepland species, whether it be certain grassland lizards or tortoises or snakes that want to bask on top of the grasses, like honestly, like garters and ribbons. Did you imagine if you had grass growing and then like the garter could live under the sod layer and then bask on the surface of the grass and then go swim in like an aquatic section? Like I think that's super cool. I feel like more people need to dabble with grasses. Sorry to go on a rant there.
no, I mean it's definitely an add-on in terms of
Yeah.
substrate gradient mediums. We're always
Yeah.
reaching, or at least we have such a big industry of dried, non bioactive, dead leaf litter type
Yeah.
substrates that
Yeah.
it's interesting to think on grass being an option.
Yeah. I'm trying to think what segued me to think about that. We were just talking about the
We're talking about
damn.
the cracks in the soil and black
Yes,
soil.
the crack.
Yeah.
That sorry, that's what made me think of it. And
Yeah. Boom bust cycle, yeah.
yeah. And I feel like the same way that people get Georgia clay and they'll wet the crap out of it, put it in an enclosure, and then blast it with heat lamps, and it cracks like black soil. Like we could still do the same thing, only make a sod layer at home that isn't going to have pesticides and God knows what else living in it from the nature center,
Yeah.
or the garden center. So
I was gonna say a nature center. Doesn't sound like the type of place to be blasting.
no,
pesticides.
I was trying to
Then-
think of nursery,
then
plant nursery. Yeah.
Then again, when in Florida,
Do anything.
I was
Yeah,
gonna
right.
say, we're like an hour and a half in. We haven't even asked the most important question of the show yet.
What's that?
Phil,
Perfect timing.
what are you smoking tonight?
Oh, I'm
We're coming for your
almost-
crown, Smitty.
Nice. I'm almost done with it. I got a little nub left, but I was smoking an Oliva Series 5 in a Corona size. So it's good. Oliva, Nicaraguan. Very nice. So
Well, then I guess that would lead us to asking our second most important question of the night. You can take it away, Nate. You can take it.
Okay. What's one place in the world, if you're given blank check to go do it, what's the one herping destination you would go to for a trip?
oh God, it's tough, man. It's really tough. I mean, I had plans for Australia and what I wanted to do, and I had still plans, but I'm torn. I'm torn between realistically. I mean, I think South Africa is probably just going to be it. I mean, for right now, in my head, right now, it'd probably be South Africa. Morocco's a close second. I mean, honestly, anywhere in the Sahara or the Middle East would be fantastic. You know, I want to do Israel. I want to do Egypt. I want to do Jordan. I want to go to Wadi Rum and catch Ekis in Wadi Rum. Dude, the Ekis in Wadi Rum are like wine purple with Darth Maul red cryptic patterns on them. Like they're just evil, menacing, like super cool desert vipers. And I'm enamored with the MENA region. I'm enamored with the Middle East, but I also really want to do South Africa because South Africa's just it's got cobras, it's got girdle tail lizards. Like it's the jam, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, everything chameleons, crocodiles.
Oh
keep
yeah.
going, you know?
Oh yeah, dude. The whole it's the gauntlet, you know. It's got everything. So and surrounding nations too, you know.
Yeah.
So
Namibia's pretty high up on my list as well.
yeah, oh, dude, of course. Namibia is absolutely fantastic. I really, really, really want to keep Namako rain frogs, but again, just super expensive, and I don't think I have the stomach for it.
And let me guess, it's also kind of a tub of dirt situation.
Oh, for sure, dude, for sure. Tub of dirt in my desert room, tub of sand, I should say, in my desert room. And then every couple months, I get to make it rain and watch the little bugger come out all grumpy and scream at me. Like, dude, who's cooler than that? What's cooler than that?
Africa has some fun Anurans. I mean, especially these, but also really nice, pretty ones like leopard toads. Like,
oh yeah,
you know, like the reds that they can sometimes get. Amazing looking. Really
yeah,
nice.
oh yeah, dude. And like, I just watched. Somebody just sent me it's a pixie frog in like just after the rains. Its eggs had hatched, and like the tadpoles are balled up, almost like a school of fish. And mom is defending the nest from both the tourists and like a turtle that happened to walk in the water. And dude, this pixie frog is like bashing the turtle. So I gotta find it. I'll send it to you guys. But like only in Africa, right?
Yeah.
You know, a beach ball sized frog trying to murk a turtle because it invaded its nest space. Like only in Africa. It's awesome.
Very worthy of the bullfrog moniker.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Yeah. And I mean, realistically, dude, I would love to just tour the dark continent, man. Just like if I could, you know, if I hit Powerball, dude, I'm just herping around that continent as much as I physically can, you know. Oh, Angola, Botswana, all of East Africa, you know, just ugh.
You know,
it'd be a blast, man. It'd be a blast.
It would. It would.
You know, the old meme of if I win the lottery, I'm not telling anyone, but there'll be signs.
Oh, for sure.
Our sign is, Snake Stogies delayed for like 2 years because Phil's out of country doing whatever he wants.
No, he's going to be holding Tyrone Pink's field guide. I'm like, holy.
That's it.
If anybody knows, because you can't really. I mean, it costs you an arm and a leg to export it out of there to get a physical copy.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. I should have. I should have gotten that first pre-order, like some other people. You know,
you and me both. You know, I missed that out. And another bummer one is I used to holler quite a bit with Alejandro, this researcher that does quite a bit down in the Latin countries, and he released 2 years ago or so, or even longer.
Ecuador, Snakes of Ecuador.
Yeah, the tome, man, the tome of Ecuador.
The tome. Why did I not buy that book? I don't know why I didn't buy it.
I don't know why, man.
So, did you get a copy or no?
No.
Oh God. Now, did they ever put it out in English? Because I know the first set was only in Spanish.
You know that I did not know. I have a PDF version, but it's just like it's so data overload. It's just it's a bother to open it.
Yeah,
unfortunately.
No, I get that, bro. But yeah, he was. I don't know him personally, but he would share excerpts of it as they were putting together. I don't know if you remember this, but like,
emails,
dude, like you obviously probably talked to him way more than I ever have, but the anticipation of that book, and again, I'm not a South America guy, like I'm not, but dude, that book should be not necessarily the template, but like it is a beautiful template for what our type of literature should be.
It set the standard. I mean,
Yeah.
Priston followed close by with the I forget if Priston worked on Arizona's field guide, but I know for sure on California's, and that's pretty solid too.
Yeah. Oh, for sure, man. For sure. And I just got Dr. Kevin Messenger's Venomous Snakes of China. And dude, that book is just I just barely scratched the surface. That is another tome and a half. I mean, it's like that thick.
Jesus.
So
Okay.
worth every penny, just amazing. And then I don't know if you ever got his Rat Snakes of China book.
I do.
You do? I don't speak Mandarin, but I love how half the book is English and the other half is Mandarin, like every page. Like brilliant. Like that's amazing.
It's a considerate concept.
Yeah, most definitely consider concept. Now, I keep wanting to get back to it, but this is a good segue. So you've obviously herped considerable amount in Mexico. Have you done like the majority of the Tamaulipas, or have you been like?
Oh no.
Okay.
Not like so. Really, mainly Oaxaca.
Okay.
And I guess a little bit of technically a little bit of Tamaulipas. If that was like South Texas, so it doesn't really count. Recently, Nate and
like
I last year.
Stuff?
So I have heritage in Panama, so that's where most of my time down south was at. And then recently, Nate and I last year we went to Colombia, and so I'm just trucking along trying to do more of Suda America.
Yeah, hell yeah, dude. And Colombia, man. Oh my god, like what's the joke? It's like if the women don't kill you, the frogs will. Right? Something like that. That's like Herper's motto.
I've never heard that before, but that is
we got lucky on both counts. You know, we saw a few dart frogs, awesome encounters, and yeah, what you're saying is pretty true.
Yeah, bro, for sure. I mean, like I have friends that they'll like flat out of Medellin for like a long weekend, and like I think to myself, I'm like, I could do that, but in the jungle. You know what I mean? And the dart frogs.
You're right there. It's much more doable for you.
Yeah, and like the dart frogs in Colombia just hit different.
Yeah, you're like, I could do this, I could do that, but I'm in a happy relationship, so.
Oh yeah, I mean, I would never, but dude, just the fact that they go down to Colombia for like 3-4 days and then fly back, and it's like not that big a deal or like not that expensive. I would totally do that just to like get a different dart frog each trip, you know?
Oh yeah.
Well, next time.
Well, maybe Smitty, you could plan that out. That would actually probably be pretty fun.
I think that'd be really cool.
I was gonna say next time you plan on doing that, let us know. Try and organize something.
Yeah, and you speak Spanish fluently or no?
Yeah.
Good.
I'm still very much in a learning phase.
You'll catch up, Nate. Don't worry. You'll catch up. Maybe next year.
I was gonna say, man, that's a huge game changer for traveling down there.
Yeah. Oh, it unlocks so much. It helps a lot when you at least try, you know, and even if you attempt language, the locals are like, okay, well, the gringo isn't so bad. He's at least trying.
At least he tries. Yeah.
At least he isn't a haughty imperialist or something like that.
He spends his money. He tries. What's not to like? You know.
Yeah, man. I feel like I definitely want to do Colombia for frogs and such. And then I want to do I want to do Mexican tours, man. I want to do the whole Baja Strip. I want to do Yucatan. I want to like drive down through like into Nuevo Leon, Nuevo Leon, and do like that whole quasi desert stretch down into
Pueblo.
Coast. Yeah, dude, Pueblo.
Oh man.
Yeah.
But I just
freaking pink rattlesnakes, man.
I know.
I may have said this before, but if I ever won the Powerball, what I would do is get one of those like vans that people drive around, do like long distance travels in. I would drive all the way down to Panama, get on the ferry that takes you to Colombia, and just basically drive all the way, the whole breadth of the Americas, or at least try to.
Yeah.
Just herping all the way, get all the way down to Patagonia, get those lance heads that are next to the penguin colonies, because that would just be a crazy thing to see.
That would be crazy.
To the ends of the earth, man. That's
yeah.
Game changing. That'd be awesome.
As much as like I said, I'm not a big South America guy, but the one cool thing that I never think about is it's still our time zones.
Yeah. That's true.
So like that's honestly a huge help in terms of your mental and physical state. Like you're an hour behind. You know what I mean? So it's not like if you got to call home and talk to people, you're not trying to time it out. Or like if you're accustomed to waking up at a certain time every day because of work or life, it's not going to alter that much being south of the border. You know what I mean?
You'll adjust. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah. It's it's not like you took a 14-hour flight and you're now in the future. You know what I
Malaysia,
mean?
Australia, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So,
Going back to the future.
yeah, right. Oh God, that's the worst. Coming back to the from the future. Uh,
Yeah,
but yeah, man,
you
Mexico's
land
definitely hit.
you land back home for your trip to Australia. Your friends ask you about it, and you're like, "Dude, I've seen the future. It's not good."
Well, you know what? Let's take it a little step further since Australia is a great destination, as we all know. But let's go with what state or territory would you
So
gun for?
I have a good internet friend named Elliot, and him and I have been internet friends for many years now. And he was a research biologist for geckos and gecko species. And prior to COVID, him and I mapped out a complete counterclockwise tour of the entire continent with GPS sites for every single knobtail gecko. And the goal was to spend 2 to 3 weeks and just tour the entire continent looking for knobtail geckos and to find every single one in like 3 weeks. And we were going to do it. And then COVID hit and life changed. And needless to say that it's not happening anytime soon, but I will definitely be revisiting that in the distant future. Because that's got to happen, man. I love knobtails and I love everything Australia and got to catch fast, crazy snakes in the wild and see wild pythons and all that jazz. So
Yeah,
that's yeah.
just don't bring any hooks with you.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Yep. The I imagine that it would still be a daunting task, but at least now I've got more acquaintances and
I don't know what happened.
we lost them.
He was a brave soldier. He gave his life for us.
Yeah, he definitely froze for a second there, and then now he is departed.
Okay. Yeah, he said his laptop tapped out on him. So
Ah, okay. Should we mark this and revisit, or do you want to call it, or
let's see here. Let's see here. I think he said just tap it out, talk about how great of a guest you are and all that, and close it out for the night.
All right, no worries, no worries.
All right.
So,
Well, Phil, thank you for taking time out of your day for us to join us. And I have a suggestion for a book for your next book club episode that you should try and check out.
oh yes, please do. What do you
Yeah,
got?
it's called Crocs Alive. It's basically
Oh, nice.
the tome for crocodilian herpetoculture. So
That's awesome.
and it's
Where
like
does one get that book?
Amazon. I just checked it up. It's like
Oh,
$65 on Amazon. So
oh, that's awesome. Yeah, definitely got to get into that.
and
That's fantastic.
it'll feature several photos from yours truly.
That's awesome, man. That's fantastic. Very cool.
So yeah. And with that, where can people find the shows that you
So
host on?
yeah, you can find me on Instagram at knobtails.ig. You can also find me on Venom Exchange Radio. It's an all Venomous centric podcast. Right now, it's its own podcast. The website is currently down. I'm working on getting that corrected. But Venom Exchange Radio on YouTube, Venom Exchange Radio on Instagram, and then on the Herpetoculture Network, we have a show, Snakes and Stogies, every Monday night at 9 p.m. East Coast on the Herpetoculture Network. Again, Instagram and YouTube, where me and my co-host Smitty, as Nate has, so he chimes in every week, and we love him for it. And I mean, that's about it, man. And thank you so much for having me on. And talking with you guys was a great time, and I love just chatting and schmoozing. I love it.
And well, thanks for rambling with us.
It was my pleasure, man. The pleasure's all mine. I'll ramble with you all anytime, brother.